good.
I'm expecting to see No Tail, and I'm very excited about that. He's my favorite player of all time, actually.
Of all time? Why?
And he's not on my team.
I'm literally right
Pretty
next
amazing.
to you.
I hate to break it to you, but you know.
Why is he your favorite player?
Well, he's very animated. I love the heroes he plays. He's very versatile. Like back in the Han days, Cap's going to remember this. He used to play tiny mid, and a lot of people just knew him for like the snowballing type hero. He plays the carry at some point. And then in Dota, he just played support, and that's all a lot of people know him as. And now he's transitioning again, so
look at him
fun
go.
to see.
Yeah, he was a godlike
Absolutely.
mid. Like, he dominated the Heroes and Newer scene pretty heavily, and so it's nice to be able to see him to go back to that role and succeed so well on it. And it's hilarious with him playing Tiny Wisp combination because he's easily like one of the best Wisp players as well as one of the best Tiny players in that
I wonder
combo.
if he flames the Wisp ever in that situation.
Crit's a pretty good Wisp though. Like he's
true.
really dedicated. He's made some mistakes in some of the early games that I saw from him, but I know just from experience with him that he's a top level Wisp player, I think.
What do you think, Let's?
Honestly, I mean, all due respect to everybody on that team, but for me, Miracle is the player that stands out. Not even, why are you, I don't know why you're
Miracle
laughing.
+4?
No, it's not even that. It's just the fact that Miracle seems to have like this really mature game understanding that takes like years to develop. Like the fact that he always knows where people are, he knows how much he can get away with. When it comes to min-maxing, when it works out for that guy, it feels like there's no player that does it better than he does.
How old is he?
He's like 19 or something like that.
So what I heard, he's Jordanian.
Yeah, he is.
And he shares his computer with his brother, I believe.
Ooh. I've got 3 other siblings. Sharing computers with siblings, not easy.
Yeah.
Especially not if you have a game that lasts approximately an hour.
And apparently his computer is garbage too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
Imagine what he
impressive.
could do on a real good computer.
I feel like you don't actually get
Is he
better.
going to be like Sinner? So when Sinner continued to play, like he played professionally on a very small,
Supposedly,
like on a
yeah.
laptop or whatever. And then when he came to a tournament, he actually adjusted the resolution of the game to be like really tiny.
Wait, who?
Cinderin. I saw him do
Cinderin.
it at a Gamescom.
Yeah, I would see pictures and it would be like, here's the giant monitor and here's his little game.
Yeah. He actually
that
did
was
that.
Cinderin.
Sumail recently, I believe it was the Summit, they had to bring a 20-inch widescreen monitor
Okay.
instead of the standard, what was it, 24 that they were using?
Yeah.
Because he's just so used to that size.
Yeah.
So they just bring it everywhere with them.
I wonder if he would do something similar if, if he gets a new computer. Or if he gets put on a new computer.
Well, it's all comes down to personal. I mean, Counter-Strike back in the day, people would play 640 by 480. Looks terrible. Put on the lowest resolution. They just get used to it and they just never want to change. People are stubborn, you know.
They are. Let's take a look at the draft because we are actually on the way.
my.
Monkey Business, Ninjas in Pajamas. We have seen Ninjas in Pajamas today, of course, already. They have 2-0 against No Logic Gaming. And that was, especially the second game, pretty one-sided. First game, not as one-sided. But that was also a matchup that they were expected to win. Now, if you ask me, for Group B, Monkey Business is actually the obvious top for me, personally. I want to hear your opinions on that.
I agree. I picked them for #1 in the group. It's a really... wait, this is Group A, right?
This is Group B.
Good. Then they're definitely #1. Because I feel like Group A for both NA and
Yes.
EU is pretty
agree.
stacked
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
overall.
What do you think, Les?
I think Monkey Business, their team that had a lot of success, they qualified for MLG. They actually narrowly beat the current team Liquid right now.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that, like at times they looked a little bit shaky. It almost felt like at times they over-relied on the Anti-Mage from Miracle. Like he really bailed them out in that series. Like if you watch it,
There it is again.
yeah, you don't just look at the straight-up score. You actually look at how that was played. This hero pretty much did everything for them, and I don't know, like, they're one of the few teams that still pick it in the first 2, just because of how dangerous it is.
And just because it probably would be banned out otherwise.
Yeah,
against
exactly.
them.
But at the same time, NiP take one of the better counters to it in the Ember Spirit. This is a tempo-controlling hero. And probably more importantly, it's one of the heroes that I see No Tail play the most. Like, he's still adjusting to the mid lane. It's going to take him a while. Like, even if he was one of the better ones in mid,
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a really long time. You don't just go like 3 years playing exclusively support and then instantly transition. And he's done a pretty good job of it, but he does have his comfort heroes, and Ember Spirit for me is definitely one of them.
Especially since the mid role is the most mechanically based So you're oftentimes going to get quite rusty quite quickly in that role. But I would agree with you. I feel like Monkey Business for me was kind of like the second best in the newest teams. I felt like Team Liquid was still better, just because I did feel that they were shaky. I don't think that they've really been challenged that often by some of the top tier teams that will be able to identify the fact. I mean, everyone in general is just adjusting to the fact that, like, oh, hey, Miracle carries them a lot of the time. So, you ban away certain of the Miracle heroes, you make sure you address him when he does get a hero like Animage. And here, I feel like Ninjas in Pajamas, just knowing NiP, I'm sure they've seen this coming, and they've identified, okay, they're going to pick up the Animage in the first 1-2 if we leave it open, especially since it's probably one of the stronger carries in the meta right now, and they'll have a plan against it. Whether it works or not, we'll have to see, but the Jakiro is kind of an interesting pickup. It's feels like maybe they're going to be running some sort of aggression. We oftentimes saw, like, when you have a passive carry like Animage, who's pretty farm dependent, running the Darkseer +1 is really nice. Darkseer Spirit Breaker or something like that. I wonder if they're planning on putting the Jakiro with that in this scenario.
Well, the one-more combo potential of Ninjas in Pajamas is definitely looking pretty good already. What do you get, Reckon Blitz? What are we seeing here from Ninjas in Pajamas?
I'm trying to think right now. When it comes to supports, you could still take something like the Disruptor. That works actually really well against all of these heroes right now. And especially against the Anti-Mage, you need something to lock down and continue to play aggressive. And I think that's what NiP wants to do. The Bane is actually going to be the pickup, but you kind of serve a similar purpose because you want some sort of space creation hero and something that can just completely lock down. I think the Bane is a little bit more fluid in the sense that the Disruptor, if you get behind with that hero, completely useless. Like, it just is. But the Bane is almost always useful. Like, you can sleep one hero, which is probably going to be the Dazzle, and then grip the other and just take away that Grave potential, which is going to be huge. And then if he gets any amount of farm, then you can just set up ganks really easy on the Anti-Mage. Like, you just Glimmer Cape, ulti the AM, no way to get out.
And let's not forget the importance in the laning stage. If the Bane and the Jakiro end up in the same lane, you got yourself a Nightmare into Ice Path potentially. Nightmare into anything, really. Maybe even walk up for a Searing Chains.
What do you think of a Gyro for NiP? What do you think of Gyro and Ember together? I mean, Gyro I say because it's a kind of a decent counter to somebody like Tusk because you want to get up close and personal, Rocket Barrage, and call down right after the Snowball. I'm not sure how good it is against AM.
Part of the problem is that they don't know what Monkey Business is going to be running as their mid yet. You combine the fact that you've got a Tusk who can roam early. There's going to be a lot of pressure on that middle lane, and we can't guarantee that the Ember Spirit is going to be mid. I think it's much more likely that Ember Spirit is going to be our safe lane farmer, just because I don't think Monkey Business will give them an easy lane matchup for the Ember Spirit to go mid. I was actually thinking, Blitz,
10 seconds remaining.
The Bane, I really agreed with you on the Disruptor. The Bane, I guess you're right, does offer a bit more defensive capabilities, especially against certain heroes like the Tusk with the Sleep. And now the Beastmaster, that single target focus, which will be really nice. But I was actually thinking if NiP would go back to like the Lina mid, because we have that kind of
They've been playing that still, yeah.
I mean, I think it's okay, but when you're playing against heroes like Anti-Mage, Tusk, and Dazzle, the problem with the Lina is that you hard commit your ulti. If you don't immediately blow it up, then you just die. Like, the Anti-Mage like blinks on top of you, Mantas, you don't kill a hero because they get graved, and then Tuskar snowballs on top of you, and your only escape mechanism is the Yule Scepter that you use to initiate the fight. It's a really weird scenario, but trust me, it's super annoying to play as.
It would be all in for the early game, and they don't really have the uphill push.
Yeah, but it is a limp hero. I just kind of feel like you're gonna pick it because it's a limp hero, not because it's the best hero.
Yeah.
Talking about picking limp heroes, they have actually been picking Puck for limp. We actually saw Puck earlier today in a Na'Vi game as well for Dendy. Not really a hero we see all too often, but what would you reckon his chances are in this type of lineup? For limp, that is.
I think it's okay, but you definitely need a hero that can play either just like the straight up tank game and outlast like the Dazzlegrave, or you need something that just has like pure mobility. I actually thought like Queen of Pain, my eyesight's like terrible.
It's banned.
I'm assuming it's
it's banned. I want to see a Miracle Tinker this game. What do you think? Comboing with Beastmaster.
Oh, that'd actually be pretty sick. you can just play the split push game then, and you don't even have to get into fights.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty heavily committed to mid to late game though. I would be concerned that they would be too pressured, especially since we don't know what the mid yet for NiP. They can get pretty aggressive with like the Ember Spirit in the early game. You have some pseudo pushing power with the Jakiro. Now that you know that there's a Lycan that adds even more pushing power, I'd be a bit concerned if that hero just got ganked up once and wasn't able to get that fast enough boots of travel. But if you can get past the 20-minute marker looking okay, I think you've won the game.
Something I want to point out too is that when you take Ember as a core and then you've got supports like Bane +1, pretty much anything, you still need some sort of core that can pressure towers and actually hit the base. Ember's like garbage at that. You almost never want Ember to be your frontliner.
If only you could sleight of fist towers.
Yeah, that would be that would make him pretty good.
Only pretty good.
Yeah, but you know, before they had a Quap, or in the game that we saw them, they had like a Queen of Pain and Axe, and then they just like completely snowballed and won the game. And they had the Alchemist as a frontliner. Like, you need something to hit the tower eventually, and that's Lycan. But Monkey Business have so many options right now.
Wow. Okay.
That's a mid Beastmaster then, yeah?
Yeah. Mid Big Daddy, no tail.
So now that we see the draft,
You can see a lot of Necros this game. That should be fun.
are we still on the Monkey Business page for this game? Are they still gonna take it? Because I actually like Ninjas in Pajamas lined up a little bit better. I feel like it's easier to execute. Maybe.
It's actually a really weird lineup for Monkey Business.
It is both really weird lineups.
Yeah.
But I want to have your opinions anyways. Who do you
Monkey
think?
Business.
Monkey Business.
I think Monkey Business have a lot of their comfort heroes.
Okay.
But I like NiP's draft. I think that they're a really good 5-man team in general, and this type of lineup suits them. I think either they win by 35 pretty dominantly, or Monkey Business wins. I think Moon Meander is going to go pretty ham. I think that guy's sick at Dota.
Yeah, I actually think Moon Meander is really the person who's going to determine whether or not Monkey Business can pull out a win, because I agree with Blitz. I kind of like the lineup. I really like the last pick Lycan. I think the pushing power is pretty essential with the way the draft was going. For me, I didn't really see it clinking together until the tail end, where I was like, okay, now we have a Lycan that gives me something to work with. So I'll go with NiP.
Okay, well, we're going to find out what is going to happen, and we're going to find out from our Dank squad, because it's Odie Pixel and Cinderin on the microphones with Ninjas in Pajamas and Monkey Business.